Howdy guys, in today's video we're going to be looking at the basic Polyline tool, and this will be for the CAD feature within FabriCAM. But before that, let's have a quick intro first. So today's video can be found on softwaretraining.co.za, and we make short and easy to watch problem solving videos, and we also have daily updates. Otherwise, if we head into the program here, now this is going to be a mini series on the actual Polyline tool, which if we go inside our CAD here, we can see it is the tool right next to our lines. Fix our zoom there, and then from the drop down menu we have the Polyline, and then we have the Polyline several points. So we're first going to be looking at the Polyline itself. Now, in many ways, you can almost view this as an upgrade from the basic line. So, it is kind of more advanced version of it, which gives you more control. So if you have to do single lines, or perhaps, let's say, a line and then with nothing attached, another line, something on that line, then you want to definitely use the line. But if you want to have joint lines, then the Polyline will be a very handy tool. So now with the Polyline selected, so I've already selected it, I'm going to just click here on the backdrop, and then you'll see we get this little options menu for the Polyline. So we've got X1, X and Y1, then X2 and Y2. And then under that we've got the actual measurements or the location of them. And then on the right here we've got the plus and minus. So we can add more and remove. So now let's just run through how this is going to work. So like with the other ones, X will be our first point, our starting point. So I'm going to leave both of those 0, and then we're going to adjust our X2 and Y2. So I'm going to first, or should I say first, going to just do the X2. So on X2 I'm going to make this 100 to the right, so it'll just be a positive 100. And then just keep in mind, when you want to change these values, you have to double click them. But if you double click just anywhere, it doesn't always work. So sometimes you have to go double click on multiple times to get that field active. So if we have that selected, I'm just going to say okay, so we can see what happens. Here you can see we created a single line here. So that's pretty much like the line, but with the Polyline we can change this. So we can either edit it, but I'm just going to start a new one so we can see the blue line more clearly. Well, it's actually not that relevant. So in any case, let's now go. We're going to go 100 to the right. So now we saw we've got a line there. So let's maybe try a bit of a zigzag just so you can see how this works. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click plus to add another line. And you see we just added a line on top, at the bottom, but you'll see a value is already inside here. So it is already updated. And what this is pretty much doing is that line we had, where we ended it by 100, now that becomes our new starting point for the next line. And that's why we were at Y0, but the X was 100. If I had to set the Y also 100, both these two will be 100 because this is our new starting point. So let's say now we want to go back to the left, but up a bit. So then X, I'm going to leave 0 because that's back to the origin, and then Y, just up this maybe about 30, and then we can just quickly preview that. I'm going to say okay. As you can see there, we have the Y2 on the X, we've got 100, and then the Y, the X2, the second line, we've got 30 up to the side. So now you can obviously just edit this. So I can just add another one. Okay, let's just remove, cancel that. I'm just going to select here, say add one. So now we can see our starting point now is 30 in the air with all the rest zeros. So now obviously you don't have to go zigzag. You can make any shapes you want, or just about, except for curves. And then so if you've got the measurements of your actual design plotted down on paper or something already, or in a document, then you can simply just enter all the values here, and by the time you say okay, it will create a nice little pattern for you. So I'm just going to go over here again. Let's go 100 to the right. This time we want to make sure the Y is 30, so it's the same height. And I'm just going to add another one, and then we're going to go back to the left again, but up a bit. So this I'm going to leave 0, and this time let's go 60. So now if I say okay, we should get a nice little zigzag going. So yeah, otherwise that is it on using the Polyline tool. Like I said, it's a very handy tool once you get the hang of it. And you have to, unfortunately, most of the time work with some measurements or just calculate it as you go. But yeah, otherwise, before we head on, if you head to softwaretraining.co.za, you guys will notice we've got a variety of different softwares we do cover, and you can also isolate your search on the top right. If you do not, however, find the training videos you're looking for, just simply go here, request the training video, fill in the mini form, and then we'll do our best to try and make that for you. But otherwise, thanks guys for watching, and cheers.